appreciate the work that you do. Mr. Speaker, could I inquire to how much time I have left?
The gentleman has 18 minutes remaining.
Very good. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this wide open border is a national security threat. It's much more than a monetary problem that has been placed upon the taxpayers across the United States. Somewhere in the neighborhood of $150 billion to $500 billion a year is being taken out of the revenue that we should be spending on our veterans, that we should be spending on our own citizens, and it's being spent on illegal immigrants as they come into our country. Now, everyone is always striving to find a better place. They want to have more opportunities for their family, for their children, for their grandchildren. We hear about the dreamers. We hear about the dreamers all the time. Well, guess what? The American children, the citizens, have dreams too. My children have dreams of what they would like to accomplish in this country. My grandchildren have dreams on what they would like to accomplish and what they see that this country could be. And we are stripping away all of those dreams when we continue to leave this border wide open. I have grave concerns about not only the millions of people that have come in here illegally that we've had encounters with, but as been touched upon this evening, I've got grave concerns about the several million people that have come in as gotaways, that have not had any encounters with any law enforcement whatsoever. What kind of problems can they cause to our infrastructure? What kind of problems can they cause to our rail systems, to our water systems, to our sewer systems, to our power grid? And why is it that when it is so easy to sneak into our country, to walk in, to be greeted on the border of Texas, to be greeted on the border of California, and be given new clothes, be given a cell phone, be given transportation to virtually any place in this country that you want, and some traveling money to go with it, what kind of criminal do you have to be to actually sneak into our country? And what plans do you have to cause problems? What strain is it causing to our school systems? How about the human trafficking, the human suffering that is taking place with the people that are forced into the sex trade day after day after day? And we know that it's happening. The hundreds of thousands of children that are completely unaccounted for. Where have they been sold? Where have they been transported to? What kind of hell are they living in right now? How many of them will be just lost and end up taking their own lives because they cannot endure it any longer? What about the introduction of diseases that we haven't seen for decades that are showing up on our streets and our schools, coming directly from the illegal aliens that are coming into our country? How about the suppression of wages and the problems that it's causing for our labor community? We're keeping the wages down. People ask, why can't we just increase the minimum wage? Because the market is so flooded with people that are willing to hire illegal aliens that we cannot get those wages up. And then the suffering in the families that lose loved ones every single day. About 100,000 lives a year are lost in this country due to fentanyl overdoses that we know is coming directly from the southern border. And this body right here is going to have to do something about it, because the administration, the Biden-Harris administration, has demonstrated they will not do anything about it. We have passed H.R. 2. And I am told that it is the most comprehensive security, border security, and immigration legislation that has ever come through here. We passed that, and it's over in the Senate, waiting for Chuck Schumer to do something with it. We passed the SAVE Act. We've heard so much about it for the last couple of weeks, and how it is going to straighten out and make sure that we don't have illegals voting in our elections. We passed it in July, and it sits in Chuck Schumer's desk waiting for some kind of action. The only thing that remains for us, the only thing that is left for Congress to do, is to use the power of the purse strings that we were granted by the Constitution, that we continually hear about. Continuing resolutions prohibit us from doing our job. Our job is to pass appropriation bills and to transparently and properly fund government. Continuing resolutions simply continue funding at levels that most of us voted against, on policies that most of us voted against. And it is not the way to run government. It continues to fund the very agencies that cause problems in our nation and that have been weaponized against our citizens. They are literally growing larger bureaucracies they are using to attack American citizens. All of the alphabet agencies, the ATF, the FBI, the IRS. We must reclaim our authority and utilize the appropriation process as called for in the Budget Act of 1974, and thereby fund government in a transparent and responsible fashion. If not, we will see a continuation of these disastrous policies and an accumulation of the ever-growing debt, which now exceeds $35 trillion. Mr. Speaker, we must do this, and we can do this, but we have to stand up and declare that we're going to do this. It's tough decisions for very difficult problems, but that's what we signed up for, and I'm here to make sure that it happens. Mr. Speaker, with that, I would yield back the balance of my time.
Gentleman yields. Does the gentleman have a